So why is my computer running so slow and sluggish? And how do I fix it? Well, some people will try to tell you that you just need to upgrade your RAM, get a newer computer, get more memory, whatever, right? While that might be true in some instances, it really isn't the best advice for everyone. Okay, so to fix this problem, you really have to understand that your PC is much like a file cabinet. If stuff gets put in the file cabinet and it's not organized and uh, it's all over the place and you're just shoving things in there, over time it's going to get full. It's going to get harder to find things. It's going to take you longer to find what you're looking for. So it's a similar concept. Over time, you download things, you install programs, and you collect a lot of garbage, and most of the stuff you don't even use anymore. So a big part of cleaning your machine or getting it to run faster is basically cleaning off all the unnecessary junk, removing programs in the proper way, and getting your file system in order, otherwise known as defragmenting. Well, we'll run through a couple of the most common areas of cleanup first, and I'll explain as we go along. So number one, startup. If your computer is taking a really long time to boot up, we need to target startup programs that run first of all. And these programs that start and they kind of run in the background once your computer starts, but they can really drag out the startup process and you'll just be sitting there waiting for like minutes. I am running Windows 8. I'm on a Windows 8 machine, and because of these differences between older versions of Windows, I'm just going to utilize a tool that kind of really makes the steps a lot more easy. You know, you can go to one tool and kind of do most of what you need to do for cleanup. So head over to CCleaner. We're going to download this program. It's made by a company called Piriform. They make really good products. You don't need to pay for this. There are paid versions if you'd like to upgrade, but we only need the free version. It's pretty sufficient for our needs. I have already downloaded CCleaner, so I'm going to go ahead and install that. And it just takes a few seconds, as you can see, and I'm just going to uncheck the release notes and I'm just going to run it. Minimize all these other stuff, and it does dump a shortcut on your desktop as well. Okay, so on the left hand side you will want to select the tools and then go over to startup on the next menu over. All these programs that are listed here are the programs that are set to run when your computer starts up. So if I just expand this a little bit here, it's going to tell you the program name. It's going to tell you first of all whether it's enabled or not, and this is rather self-explanatory. It's no if it's not enabled and yes if it's enabled. You can also just at a glance see all the ones that are kind of black are the ones that are enabled, and the ones that are like grayed out are not enabled. So you just go down this list and you can either you right click on a program and enable or disable them. Also, you can just select an item and just hit the enable or disable button on the right hand side, or you can click delete, which won't delete the program, but it will delete it from the startup list over here. Okay, so it'll just not start up. Be careful when you just go down this list here. You obviously don't want to deactivate or disable antivirus software or anything that's critical. So, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You can figure out most of the stuff you can see used to be originally started up with my machine, and I just went and disabled them, which makes a big difference. Once you've done that, you really should restart your machine for you to actually see the benefit of it. Once you've restarted your machine, we'll come back to CCleaner in just a moment, but first we need to take a look at the files that you have on your machine. The ones that you don't use anymore, that have just been sitting over there, programs that aren't being used that need to be uninstalled. Okay. Never delete a folder from the program files directory. that won't uninstall a program. By the way, the program files directory you will find in your main C drive. Okay, program files x86 and program files, these are off limits for deleting anything inside these folders. Just I caution you, don't do that. If you need to remove a program, the proper way to do it is to uninstall them. I will have a more advanced tutorial where we talk about, partitioning the drive and what other things you can do hardware-wise to speed up your machine's performance. But for now, I'll skip over that just to keep things short. If you don't have that many files on your machine, you can just try to do this kind of at a glance and see, which files you can delete that's taking up a lot of space. And you can just sort them by size and see, basically which files need to be removed. A more efficient way of going about this is to use a program that basically will highlight the biggest offenders, and then I can decide, if I want to delete the file or the program based on disk space that it's taking up. So for that, we will download Win Directory Stats. It is a utility that's free to use. It's very useful, very handy. Go to this website again. The link will be in the description. The download link from SourceForge or Bitbucket. Just take your pick. It's really small. Once you've downloaded the file, you can double click it and install. Just click accept. Next. The default options are fine. Just say next. Install. Next. And close. So it runs the program, also puts a shortcut on your desktop. Alright, so for this demonstration, I'm just going to choose the C drive, and you can choose all local drives for it to scan, or basically you can just select anything that's been selected here will be included in the discovery. So you can just choose whichever drive you want to do, or even a folder. If you select a folder and you just want to see which items are the biggest files in that folder, you can go here. So I'll say OK. And you'll see the little Pac-Man icon, moving across the screen here as it basically goes through the entire directory system, directory structure, and arranges the files by largest to smallest. Okay, you can see size, biggest files all the way down to the smallest ones. Here's your progress bar at the bottom. This usually takes a couple of minutes, but obviously depends on how much data you have. And once it's done, you'll have a pretty good idea of the sizes of the folders, and it kind of makes things a lot easier. You can target folders that are huge. I found so much free space just by using this program. It's really handy. So basically, to use this guy, you're just going to select it. It has little arrows next, little plus icons next to it, which you can just expand, to see the items inside these folders, and you can keep going down until you find the culprit and make a decision on whether you need that, whether you really need those files, or whether you can delete them. This is kind of just like a visual cue that shows up at the bottom here that's color coded. The larger the block, obviously, the larger the file. So I have quite a few of all sorts here, but really you just need to kind of take a glance at the top here, and looks like my biggest culprit is the users folder, 126 gigabytes. Alright, so once you've done that, let's head on over to, before I should probably just show you how to go ahead and delete something. So let's say I want to delete this file folder, right? Just for example, I'm going to right click. I have two options. I could delete it to the recycle bin, which means I can later recover it if I make a mistake, or I could do a permanent delete, shift and delete. It's the shortcut key here, and that will just delete it without going to the recycle bin. So that's kind of just a one-way ticket gone. So be careful how you use this. Okay, so let's head on over to not CCleaner just yet. I want to remove or uninstall a few files. So how you uninstall a program, remember how I was saying don't delete things inside the program files folder, you need to uninstall them. Click on your Windows icon. I'm on Windows 8 and just start typing remove and you'll see add or remove show up. Click that. Okay. In this list here, you can go through, basically see the size of the programs that you have installed. If you don't need it anymore, right click, choose uninstall, and that's it. Let it go through its motions. So yeah, just select the program, right click, uninstall, whatever you want to do. And then we're done with that. We'll come back to CCleaner. Now inside CCleaner, there's an uninstall option here at the top as well. So you can, if you don't want to go through the default Windows way of uninstalling it, you can just go here and it's pretty much the same thing. Now I'm going to start analyzing things. I'm going to click on the Cleaner tab at the top here. And the very next window right to the right of that, it's kind of giving you a checklist of all the items that will be removed or cleaned. Okay, so by default, these defaults are fine. You can go ahead and remove more if you want to, but you don't have to. Obviously, save passwords are unchecked. And autocomplete form history is unchecked by default. You can, if you want to do a total clean, you can just check everything. Okay. Then applications is the right tab. This is basically mostly browsers and other applications that hold temporary files, where this program will go through and kind of, list them all to be deleted. So you click Analyze, and it's going to say Google Chrome needs to be closed or whatever browser you have open. So just say yes. Once the analysis is complete, now mine didn't take that long. It can take quite a while depending on how filthy your machine is. Okay, so if you've not done this in a long time, it might take a couple minutes. It'll give you the total amount that's going to be cleaned, and then you can see, all the files that will be removed. And just to point out, temporary internet files, I mean 16 megabytes worth of files, if this can add up really quickly. Look at this, 233 megabytes worth of internet cache files from Firefox. It accumulates over time. You want to click this is just the analysis, so you want to click the Run CCleaner. So I'm going to do that now. It'll give you a little warning, just say OK. Alright, so cleaning is complete. I have found that I can do this a couple of times, actually 1 or 2 times, and I'll go through and I'll find more things that is actually not being cleaned the first time. So you can do that a second time, especially if it's the first time you're ever doing this. Then after you've done that, you can hopefully now you can restart your machine, or if you haven't done so already, and you should notice that things are a little bit more peppy. On the left side here, there's a registry button. So this is a registry cleaner. If I were you, I would, if you hit scan for issues, this again is one of those things that could take a long time. It just depends. When you hit the fix selected issues button, it's going to ask you, do you want to backup changes to the registry? I would say yes, do so. And wherever you feel like you need to actually save this file, just in case something goes bad and you need to recover it, just save it somewhere. And I have 41 issues, so I'm going to say fix selected and then close. Okay, there's a lot more that we can do with CCleaner, but hopefully now I've kind of given you guys a couple things that you can use to start and keep your computer clean. You should be doing this, I think, at least once a week. Just depends how much you use your machine. The other thing that you can do as well is defragment. Now, some people will say you don't defragment a solid state hard drive. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. But I'll have a more advanced tutorial at some point, kind of talking about more advanced ways that you can go about optimizing, you know, and improving the speed of your machine. So just to be thorough, because some people are going to complain if I don't cover this, defrag. So if you type in defrag, it should pull up the item, click defrag. It'll give you the current status on the right side here. And so, you know, this one's okay, 0% fragmented. Some of these are going to be listed, needs optimization. And so you can just go through these, click optimize. You can, the scheduled optimization is set to on. So drives are being optimized automatically, and that's on a weekly basis. You can change these settings if you so choose. I probably should just have this done manually instead. I don't like automating things like this, but that's up to you. This should help you get your machine running a lot smoother, a lot cleaner. If you can keep as much junk off your machine, that's the way to go. Hopefully this tutorial was helpful. If it was, please like and share. Thank you.